Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, and verse number is 64. This chapter gives the essence of the Gita and the final message, which is the highlight of all the teachings. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyah shrinume paramam vachaha ishtosi me dhramiti tato vakshyami te hitam. Again, listen to the profoundest of all secrets. Guhyatamam. You are dearly loved by me, therefore I shall relate what is good for you. Spiritual knowledge is described as profoundest of all secrets. The Sanskrit was Guhyatama. Guhya comes from the word Guha. Guha means cave, something that is deep within the cave, and the civilized people have not yet explored it. And that knowledge is acquired by Guru. Gu refers to Guha, cave. Guru illumines. You have to find some type of a light to go into the cave. And every insight you get in that cave is called Guru. Profound, secret type, because you couldn't really get it unless you are qualified. And if you don't get it, you are called mood. Mood means dull wit. I say these words so that you can catch hold of some of those terms. So don't be a mood. Explore the regions that are good within your heart. And it results in becoming dearly beloved by God, dearly loved by God. And once you are loved by God, your liberation is perfectly secure. Mukti bhakti ki dasi hai. Liberation is a maid servant of devotion. God's love becomes manifest, clear. The liberation is matter of course. If the tree is growing, blossoms are there, and monkeys are not there to snatch it. Mango fruit is coming up. It is sure. Becoming dear to God, that needs to be understood, because the whole statement is good. It's a profound statement. You cannot just literally adopt it. First point, every soul is loved by God. But being dearly loved, that's a different matter. Put things in a very clear way. Think of so many pots having water, but water in different states. Some water is maybe shaky, some may be mixed up with some dirt or etc., different conditions of water. And the sun is reflecting in all those jars. Every reflected sun is like the jiva soul. Souls that seem to be countless jivas. So if you turn your attention to so many reflections, you are looking at countless suns. If you're not wise enough, more dull with, then you get into a world of terrible stress. These little reflections are my dear and near ones. Those who cares. But what will happen to these reflections? I will not go into too much detail, but just open up your imagination. In other words, if you are worried about reflected suns, there is no limit to your worry. But whether you worry or not, every reflected sun is related to this. And it is not possible for God to reject any soul. That's impossible. Again, I will bring to you a little parable of Akbar Birbal. Akbar was great Muhammadan king, and he wanted to be recognized by all Hindus as a great personality. So he did many good things, so much that he built up a big ego, that I am the doer of greatest good. And someone advised him, why don't you have your statue introduced to all the Hindu temples? Because they like to have many gods. And you will be an added god. Another one said, why you should be added? You should be the supreme God in every Hindu temple. While they were talking to Akbar in this way, Birbal, who was a wise minister, he wasn't there. But they had taken that, I'm not going into detail of this story, they had already sent Birbal to some type of job. So in his absence, Birbal always corrected the king and saved him from taking wrong steps. But Birbal was not there. In the meantime, Akbar became fascinated with the idea that he will be the first time in Indian history, he will be in one of the gods, or why not the major, the supreme god. So while he was enjoying that idea, Birbal comes in a little late. And Akbar turns to Birbal and says, what do you say about this? Hindus must consider me as God, and I will be placed in all temples, my image, my statue. All the people that had planned all that, their plan was also meant to discredit Birbal and even to destroy him. That was the whole plot. So when the king said that, Birbal said, "O king, you are even greater than God. Who told you you are just God? You are greater." Now it blew his mind away. I want to be God. And greater than God? Why do you say that? And all others smiled with themselves. Then how Birbal is lost. Birbal said, if there is any criminal in your kingdom, you have the right to destroy the criminal or drive him out of your kingdom. But God, in his kingdom, can't banish anyone because there is nothing outside of God's kingdom. So God is unable to banish anyone out of his kingdom. Another point, God is not unable to destroy any. The sun does not destroy its reflections. The whole matter settled down. They didn't talk about having him occupy a place in temples. All that I'm leading you to understand. First point, that every soul is loved by God. Therefore, for every soul, all things needed for its evolution, God has fashioned it. Consider the lilies of the field. How do they grow? Ask them. I'm not going to do such a detail. But the world is filled with amazing creation. And it's a loving hand of God behind all. But the point is, simply being loved by God allows you to go to attain prosperity and happy situations in life if you are just generally loved by God. Implication is your soul is led by karma. All karmic movements are completely like a mathematical process. Every experience you have is a result of karma you have performed. But behind all this, God is involved. It's because of his omniscience and omnipresence, because his omniscience, he knows everyone's karma. He is omnipotent, he is allowing everyone to have the result of karmas. And he is omnipresent, he is all over. So imagine how much God has concern for every little soul. But coming to another level, being dearly loved, a pot where the water has become clear, clean, and calm, their soul shines. That's the expression of dearly loved. All pratibimbas are not being loved. But pratibimba that looks like bimba. Not joking. Give you some taste of Sanskrit language. कबीरा मन निर्मल भयो जैसे गंगा नीर, पाछे लागे हरि फिरे कहत कबीर कबीर. The great saying of Saint Kabira, that there was a time he went to look for God everywhere. And as if God ran away, knowing Kabira is coming this way, and God would just run away. Behind all these stories, they are all fascinating stories. You have to open your mind to understand in a mature way. God's running away means what? It means you planned a pilgrimage center visiting a pilgrimage. You work very hard. By the time you reach there, you became sick. The flowers of the garden of the temple brought allergic reaction. You have to put swab on your nose. That's how God runs away from you. But when mind has become purified, Kabira says, I don't go after finding God. God goes after me. Yes, Kabira, Kabira. Don't go too fast. An illustration of a motherly love. So that type of experience enters your soul. The relationship with God in the beginning is for bhoga, experience of pleasure. So each time you are uncomfortable, you pray to God, oh God, give me a good house. Oh God, free me from this debt. And so forth. If I elaborate it, the whole class will go like that. And your prayers are answered. That again is a law. And that's called bhoga. God loves you, but His love becomes limited because your mind is unable to experience something that you don't deserve. So, now, if you have followed the spiritual path, brought integral yoga in your personality, turn your karma into karma yoga, all that happens all together. But when I describe it, then I have to give you names. Action turns into karma yoga. Feelings turn into bhakti yoga, devotion, love of God. The willing movement of the mind goes into Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. You learn to discipline your mind, not to be distracted all the time. And a subtle movement goes in the intellect level, not to stay intellectual, but go into transformation. Intellect, when it is intellectual, it is like a caterpillar with 1,000 feet, with a lot of distraction. So many things to know. But when transformation takes place, it turns into a butterfly. It's allegorical. That's a different story. Similarly, your intellect turns into intuitive knowledge. Then you are not looking for pleasures of the senses. All the world of bhoga, enjoyment, moves away from you. That becomes a qualification for liberation. Vairagya, viveka. And if that has developed, that means you are dearly loved by God. And you can't run away from Him anymore. Who like it? 65th verse. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te priyajane priyosi me. This is the only verse that has been repeated twice in the Ramayana, the Gita. thereby implying it gives you the highlight, the essential knowledge of the Gita. The first line is exactly the same that occurs in 9th chapter, 34th verse. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji imam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvayam atmanam matparayana. I have recited the earlier verse. And the present verse has a little difference. Mame vaishya satyam te pratijane priyosi me. What does that simply mean? Literal meaning is, fix your mind on me. Manamana bhava. In the biblical teaching also, Lord Jesus has used a very similar state. Manamana bhava. Your mind should not be Vishayamana. It should be Ishwaramana. Everything that you are grasping in your mind views that anything that comes in your mind as something to be enjoyed, something that impacts upon you in a good way or in a wrong way. Raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred. But if your mind has reached a high level of purity or understanding, then no matter whatever enters your mind, there is a deeper understanding and feeling that all that enters your mind is nothing but God. Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani. So therefore your mind has nothing else to go after. God, this is the definition of Godward mind. Versus dogward mind. Your mind is focused on the world for happiness, etc. It's a dogward movement. You go on barking. Instead of bowing to God, you say, Baba. So to understand more in a profound way. All that you experience and that comes to your mind are projections. There is no reality behind. Just like all that you see in a cinema show, there's no reality. They are projections. And behind projections is a screen. The screen remains untouched. That screen within you is pure consciousness called Chit. This another way of saying that's God. Call that God Krishna, Rama, Brahman, Shiva, whomsoever, whatever name. But that's the reality. Pure consciousness. If mind develops that understanding, then you have developed Godward vision. It's illustrated in Mahabharata when Dronacharya puts his students to a test. He presents a device on a big tree, a little bird, and he asks, discharge arrow to shoot the eye of the bird. And people come one after another, and he gives a vocal examination first. What are you seeing? And each one says, Oh Gurudev, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing your feet, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And he wouldn't let them shoot the arrow. But when Arjuna comes, he says, Guru asks him, are you seeing me? He said, no. Are you seeing the tree? No. Are you seeing the branches? No. All others are very happy. He is going to become a big fool. Are you seeing the bird? No. I am seeing only the eye, nothing else. Dronacharya, shoot. And he succeeds. Follow that parable. If mind comes to understand, this is not something made up story. It's super science. What is the ultimate reality? Who are you? Are you really the body? How miserable. Because as a body will be only for a few. I shouldn't say anything more. So if your mind is going to be fascinated by the truth, then what is that truth? That's a great, that's called vichar, the inquiry movement. That's the mystic adventure that shakes up all your personality, brings changes in every level of your personality, crushes you up. And out of that emerges a divine personality, saintliness, enlightened soul. And that's your goal. So, mana mana bhava. Not laddu mana. Not vishaya mana. Mind that is not going after pleasures of the senses and pleasures of the world, not only senses. The desire movement has three levels, three aspects. Putreshana, Vitteshana, Lokeshana. One level, you want to build up a good, cozy atmosphere in your family, having wonderful, beautiful children. They grow up, then they have their beautiful children. How wonderful. Look at your sons, grandsons, daughters, daughter-in-laws. How prosperous. I'm not underestimating. It has its, one should have all that, but that's not the goal. You have to understand no matter how much you have, it is not this transient. This is called putreshana. Next is vitteshana, having wealth. Now, wealth again has different types. Having good house, having good vehicle, having good resources, anything, all that comes under wealth. And of course, wealth in the bank, called vitteshana. That again is, it never satisfies. You want to have more and more and more. And third is lokeshana. You want to go viral. become very popular. So much so that people should recognize you are the only one who has the head on your body. So all these eshanas move away. Then your mind is moving towards God, mana, bhava. Hindi word is there. Somebody is sulking or upset. Mana ke lana. Mana do. Persuade him to be calm. Mad bhakto. The next word, develop. Love of God. That implies all that you love is in the realm of Maya. You are loving sparks, loving little reflections of the sun, little illuminations. But real love should be the sun. This doesn't mean that you will move away from all people you love. But recognize that whomsoever you love, you are loving God in that person. And if they love you, God within you is being loved by them. When that type of understanding develops, you become Madh Bhakta. The only love you have is divine love, nothing else. In the state of moha, people come to a state, I have found the very peace of my heart. But then bring your mind to another level of understanding. Dil ke tukde हजार हुए, कुछ इधर गिरे, कुछ उधर गिरे. As you move on in your life, even within this lifetime, you have loved so many things. And those things you have loved, you have thrown them away. Some have gone there, some have gone there. And through many lives, you have loved people in different relations. And now, they may be all around you through different births, but you don't care. Try to understand, therefore, the real love, which expresses in human heart as normal love. The real love makes you soar. Unreal love makes you fall. I will not go into details. And that type of love has to be developed. Live your life following the path of bhakti, which implies when you begin to hear the praises of God, praises of saints, you should become especially fascinated. Don't miss satsangas. Don't miss opportunities for serving others. Siya Ram mai sab jagani, every person, every creature, every object is indwelt by God. God permeates. So anything you are loving, behind it is love of God. All this is said very easily, but the movement is gradual, progressive. Next word, madhyaji. Madhyaji, yaji, yaj term refers to yajna. It implies turn your action into karma yoga or yajna. Resign all things to me, that's literal meaning. But let me explain to you. Yajna term, there are different forms of yajna. Dravya yajna, which means act of charity, using your wealth and resources to help others. That was Dravya Yajna. Tapo Yajna, austerity of body, speech, and mind. In order to be useful, the more you allow your body, speech, and mind to become disciplined in a spiritual way. The word is austerity, but the austerity doesn't mean that you simply make your body, mind suffer. Austerity is a divine way of making yourself healthy, strong, spiritually strong. Just like you go to a doctor with some sickness and he prescribes diet. Diet is austerity. But we're not missing anything by the diet. The diet is only leading you to better nourishment. Similarly, austerities are meant to do the austerity of speech. You said harsh words, words spilled out of your tongue. So say to yourself, every day for 2 hours I will not say anything. And then gradually, by that austerity, you have controlled your. Now, harsh words come, they don't spill out, just stay in your throat. So the result of austerity. Similarly, with your mind, thoughts come in. By austerity, you allow a certain order. What type of thoughts should you allow the mind to become drenched with? So all that's called yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna. Yoga yajna is allowing your mind to stay in a state of serenity and equanimity. The world will always have variations. The news go on breaking every few minutes. But don't break your head all over it. In other words, allow yourself develop that type of devotion to God and love of God that you leave all things going on in His hands. From your point of view, do everything possible according to your capacity. And what you cannot do, offer prayers to God. And if you are a little shaken by it, that's perfectly normal. If you don't shake, that means something is wrong in your personality. Breeze blows and the tree doesn't shake. So that's yoga yajna. No matter what happens, the qualitative life of yours is not going to be disturbed. Learn from the bears. No matter how much chilly the atmosphere, the bear family stays close to feeling the warmth of their heart. Try to figure out. These are the great ideals. No matter how distant you are from the ideal has to be always placed before your mind. And again, the distance is an illusion. The reality within you is the ideal of our ideals. Your mind will blow away. And it doesn't require time to reach. It requires illusion to break. Then there another one is called Swadhyaya Yajna. That's very vital aspect of sadhana. Swadhyaya includes japa, repeating mantras, study of scriptures, listening, reflection, all come under Swadhyaya. Swa is the self. Consider the self as your granth, your religious book. And open chapter by chapter, adhyaya by adhyaya. In other words, repeated reflection on who am I. That's the ultimate purpose of our study of the Vedas, etc. But while I'm talking that, the subtle, simple point is, day by day allow some scriptural teaching to enter your heart. Some satsanga talks enter your mind day by day, and view the world around you as Guru. They are also giving you lessons. The breeze is blowing. It gets drenched with a certain scent, but it doesn't get attached to it. It dumps all the scent in one place and goes on. And the sky is the big Guru. So many clouds come and go, sky remains. So if you develop that type of personality with that sensitivity to gain spiritual knowledge and consider your life, the world around you as opportunity provided by God to attain enlightenment. So that's called Swadhyaya. Every morning it opens up, giving you opportunity. It doesn't come to for mourning. And the final, Mam Namaskuru, that's Jnana Yajna. That means Namaskar relates to shaking off two illusions, ahamata and mamata. This is me, referring to ego. That me is not real. And this is mine. Me and mine are negated when you say the word Nama. When people meet and say Namaskar, that's the Vedic mantra has gone, the sages have tricked you. You are doing what? But you are not really turning to the people around you, you are turning to God. So that's the beauty of culture. So Mam Namaskuru. Ultimately, the entire world is nothing but God. And that's jnana. Jnana at its, when it's perfected. So through the mantra, you are given 4 aspects of yoga, the main 4 aspects. Manamana, Dhyana Yoga. God alone is the object of your focus. Madbhakto, Bhakti Yoga. Madhyaji, Karma Yoga. Namaskuru, negation of ego. And that's Jnana Yoga. If you have entered into the 4-aspected movement, you are going to realize me. There is no doubt about it. This I truly promise to you because you are dear to me. The statement, if you have done put all this together in your life, then God gives you a kind of His own promise that you are bound to attain liberation, which means bound to be united with God. you will attain God realization. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapevyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Having renounced all dharmas, take refuge in me alone. I will free you of all sins. Do not grieve. This also is a profound statement. But if you are not well led in studying, confusion may arise. The dharma term refers to generally religion, practice of the path of dharma leading to liberation. Yato dharmas tato jaya. And here the statement is renounce all dharma. Uneducated people say, oh, renounce Christianity, renounce Hinduism, renounce all dharmas. But it has nothing to do with that. Here dharma relates to swadharma, paradharma. When you perform actions that are in harmony with you, duties that you do not led by mental aberration, but through a normal mind, duties that you do, they have nourishing effect on you. If you are a good teacher and you teach others, money doesn't give you all the taste of what you do. Your teaching gives you a kind of fulfillment. That's called swadharma. Turn all activities that you do delectable. That's a profound art. You are doing anyway. Why to do it grudgingly? And the insight that God is, you are an instrument in divine hand. That insight will give you a special ease in adopting that attitude. So, renounce paradharma, all duties that are not yours. You are being led to do it out of aberrated mind. But then comes another term, swadharma. When you do swadharma, you are still expecting, I'm doing all this and I will be prosperous. I will have good karmas and will bring me lot of prosperity, a golden future awaits. That's called sakamya karma. You are doing your duty, but it's sakamya, with desire. The message here is renounce that. All dharmas, with desire or without desire. I'm not talking without desire. With all karmas, whether swadharma or paradharma. Now, renounce term again cannot be taken literally. The term renounce means perform your duties, but do not be attached. Do not develop the idea, I am the one doing it. You play on the flute, wonderful music comes. And the flute doesn't shout out, it's I who did it. Be flute in divine hands. So without giving credit to ego, but recognizing God more and more. If you are doing that, that's called Sarvadharman parityajya. You have renounced all dharmas, swadharma, paradharma. Karma-related fruit will not limit you anymore. Take refuge in me alone. The goal of all your actions is not worldly pleasure, attaining God realization. Very simple way to say, perform all your actions for chitta shuddhi, purity of heart. And purity of heart develops. You have no choice but to love God, because God is the only reality. I will verily free you of all sins. If ignorance itself is removed, you have no more sins or no more karmas. As a result, what you will get? There will be no grief. That's the brief of the whole message. The Gita starts with this statement, O Arjuna, ashotya nanu ashochastvam. You are grieving over things not worth grieving for. And he elaborates it in 17 chapters and 18th. So therefore, ma shucha, don't grieve. And with this, I'm going to conclude for now. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.